Riff Hamlin here for Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me in today's video. In today's video, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things. It's called the turnaround. And if you've ever heard of the turnaround, it's quite simply the last two bars of the 12-bar blues form or an 8-bar blues form. Sometimes we use turnarounds in an 8-bar blues as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a turnaround, and then I'm going to show you a thing about how the 12-bar form ends and either ends the song for good or goes back and starts over. And that's one of the turnaround's functions. So let's jump in and first look at the actual turnaround. And this is I'll say a very Robert Johnson inspired turnaround, but it's one of those ones that you kind of hear everywhere. So again, we are doing a blues in E. So this is going to be an E-based turnaround. Now, one of the things that's very consistent among turnarounds, and there's a bazillion turnarounds out there, and they're, just kind of, it's kind of a place where a set thing that you play works really well because the chords tend to move a little bit faster. You don't really want to try to follow them, at will. It would be hard to do. So it's good to have something for a turnaround that you just know and you can just play it. So what we're going to have is I'm going to go back and forth between my low E and my high E. Now, I could use the high E at the 5th fret of the 2nd string. If you preferred to do that, you could absolutely do it. There are times when I do it. It's kind of a control thing, depending on what else I'm playing, whether or not I use one or the other. But I have I'm going to use you'll notice that I'm going to use my pick every time I play a lower string, and it's going to be the low E, and then I'm going to play the 5th fret D on the 5th string, 4th fret, 3rd fret, and 2nd. And that's really just kind of how this is going to go down. And all turnarounds seem to have that sort of idea. And you'll notice that when I add with my middle finger on my right hand, I add in that top string. Now I could play this all at once. That's not how this one's going to go, but that works too. So I'm going to have the low E, the high E, then I'm going to bounce back and forth. So I'm going to go 5th fret, open, 5th fret, 4th fret, open, 4th, 3rd, open, 3rd, 2nd. Now sometimes I guarantee I will mess up, and I will also hit that high E up top. That's just another variation. I'm just telling you right now that I'm going to do that. It's one of those things I can't help but do it sometimes. So I want to go ahead and throw it out there. That way, if I do accidentally do that, you don't go, hey, you messed it up right there. I know. That's just one of those things. It's another variation. It's just one of those things. Sometimes my middle finger is just like, oh, I got to have that. So you'll hear that instead of that. That's truly it's just a variation. It's no big deal. Okay, so we have 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Now, this is just kind of how I'm going to end this. And we looked at this when we did, I think, the blues in E. Right? B, A, B flat, B. Right? And you recognize that B flat. It's the blue note from the blues scale. And then I grabbed some of those notes from an open B7 chord at the end. So this is both a turnaround move and just kind of a normal blues move to do this. Right? So if I put my whole turnaround together, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? So this is kind of half new, half old. But again, that move that we were doing at the B7 could go either way. Okay. Now, normally, that is how I would end my 12-bar blues progression. But here's what's cool. It's also a great way to have an intro to a song. It's a very popular way to just intro the entire song. So the first thing you do is play the turnaround and then start the song. So it goes kind of like this. We play the intro, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then we get into our groove, right? All the usual stuff. And of course, later on, in a couple videos from now, we're going to go ahead and add some licks in here. But for right now, I just want to show you how the pieces work. And we're back to the E. And you'll remember we had and here we're going to put the turnaround, but look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that little F7 and E7 at the end. 8th fret on the 5th string, 7th fret on the 4th string, 8th fret on the 3rd string, slide it down a string. If you know that C7 grip, that's where this chord comes from. You can use whatever fingers you want. That's a great way to end the song. Okay, notice that if I did the that wants to start again, right? In this case, I want to end the song. So when I'm coming around again, right, I'm going to use this ending. I'm going to go through all my chords. And I might do this 2 or 3 times, right? Who knows? Maybe 5 or 6. And this even happens like at jams and stuff. And it's time to end the song. And everybody knows the song is over, because we've done what I commonly call the blues half step. Okay, we go our one chord is the E, so we go up a half step and slide back down. And that sort of half step resolution like that just tells everybody song's over. It's just really, really clear and really plain. It's a very common thing. You hear it all the time. So notice that it's the same turnaround, right? I used it to start the song. I would use that same turnaround if I was going to play that same 12-bar pattern 10 times in a row. 9 of those times, I'm going to use that same as I did at the intro. But the very last one, when the song is over, I'm going to use that blues half step. Boom. Everybody knows the song's over. It's a very, very cool idea. So what we now have, if you think about it, right, we have a groove, we have some licks, and we have a turnaround. I'm going to add one more element. I could put this all together into a song, but it'd be a short song. I'm going to add one more little element, something that I call little chords. We're going to add those in just because I really love the sound of it. I think you're also really going to love the sound of it. So I'll let you work on this in the previous couple of lessons. I'll see you in the next one. We'll talk about these little chords, and then we're going to put all this stuff together. So we're getting close, all right? Hang in there with me. As always, I'll leave whatever downloads might be necessary. For this lesson really aren't any, the tabs in the video, but I will leave everything that you need to know. Again, this is kind of all in the style of my Acoustic Blues Guitar Unleashed course, so I'll leave a link nearby to that. You can check that out. As always, I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.